Our top story tonight, the DEA says they have detained more than 100 people, then turned them over to ICE after they broke up a party at what they are calling an illegal underground nightclub. This happened early this morning in Colorado Springs. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. We're also told active duty military members were inside that property at the time of the raid. Let's get straight to 9 News reporter Janelle Finch. You spent the day working to try to learn more about what's going on here.
The DEA says they've tracked crimes to this property, including drug trafficking, prostitution, and violence. Agents say today they seized drugs and guns from the property, as well as turned over dozens of people to immigration enforcement. The Drug Enforcement Administration says more than 200 people crowded into an event space in Colorado Springs Saturday night. Agents say by early morning Sunday, around half of those attendees had left in handcuffs. One of them was Jose Dominguez.
Tonight I was just partying with a fellow group of my friends.
He says how his night started was far from how it ended. Dominguez says law enforcement broke up the party and evacuated the building.
From there, we were escorted down with handcuffs, making sure that we were U.S. residents.
He says he was released once he verified his citizenship.
My assurance is that I was a U.S. resident. They ran my record, made sure that I had no criminal record history, and then from there they just let me go as if nothing happened.
The same couldn't be said for everyone. The DEA says ICE took more than 100 people in the country without authorization into their custody. Agents say they've been tracking illegal activity at this property for months, including violent crimes.
That's the part that's mind-blowing.
According to the owner of the building, the most recent tenant's lease began in January and was set to end this month.
It's shocking to me to find out what they were doing here. I had no idea. And it's shocking to me the level and the scale that was happening.
The DEA says investigators noticed members from Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and Hells Angels attending the club. We've asked the DEA if they can share more information about the identities of those possible gang members. They declined to do so. The DEA says more than a dozen active duty military were also either attending the party or working as security. The Army Criminal Investigation Division is working with the DEA to determine next steps for those people. Janelle Finch, 9 News.
All right, Janelle, thank you. And some important context as we cover this story. This morning's raid echoes a similar one we saw in Adams County just a few months ago. You might remember in late January, DEA, along with other federal agents, initially took 49 people into custody at a party inside an industrial building. And according to ICE, at least 41 of those people were in the country without proper documentation. The DEA told us that raid was part of a 6-month investigation, started when a member of the Venezuelan prison gang brought 12 kilos of fentanyl to Colorado. However, agents only found personal use quantities of drugs and 4 pistols. 9 News Investigates eventually learned the raid resulted in no state or federal criminal charges being filed against any of those people who were taken into custody. Meantime, in Florida this weekend, ICE has conducted what it calls a first-of-its-kind operation when that agency and state law enforcement worked together to arrest nearly 800 people over 4 days. ICE's office in Miami has called this operation highly successful, also says it's the first time they have a partnership between state and federal partners. ICE has yet to provide more details about who was arrested, their legal status, or any more information about the operation. CNN reports more than 200 state, county, and municipal law enforcement agencies across Florida have now entered into collaboration agreements with ICE. Back here in our state, Aurora police are now investigating 2 separate shootings this weekend. One ended with a man killed. According to Aurora police, the first shooting happened early this morning in a parking lot off the Village Green Plaza shopping center. Police say 2 men were injured. They both went to the hospital. One of them died. Not clear what led up to that shooting or if there was any kind of a relationship between these 2 men, and police have not identified any suspects. Aurora police tell us the other shooting happened just after 3 o'clock this morning on Highline Place. Police said 1 man was shot, taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and several other people were detained, including the person they believe is the shooter. The victim and everybody involved that was detained seemed to know each other somehow. So far, no arrests have been made. Our other big story today is, once again, the forecast. Warm and windy translates to some elevated fire danger. You're looking live over Horsetooth Mountain on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Temperatures hovered in the 80s But this next week, we have another potential for storms. Let's bring in 9 News Weather Impact Team Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. Let's talk about that fire danger first, because that's still going on today.
Yeah, that goes until 8 o'clock tonight. Still pretty breezy out there, so we're still seeing some wind gusts in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. So hopefully we stay clean as we go through the rest of the evening here as far as that goes. Temperatures still pretty warm here, 80 degrees at 9 News Studios here at Spear and Logan, 80 degrees at Denver International Airport still. And things are going to change a little bit here. We'll get rid of the fire danger with a little humidity and some cooler temperatures. You see this big cyclone spinning out here in the Great Basin. That is just going to come to the north of us here in Colorado, but that's going to cool us down, bring us some isolated rain chances as we go through the next several days here. But here's your Monday here in Denver. We'll get those temperatures up to about 65, which is about normal for this time of year, but not too many rain chances tomorrow. They'll gradually increase as we go towards about Wednesday. So I'll detail those rain chances coming up and when the next time we might be able to see an 80-degree temperature here in Denver might be, and it'll be next weekend.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Most people fish simply because they love it. Sometimes, though, you can make a little money, too. Out on Blue Mesa Reservoir near Gunnison, people are trying to reel in as many lake trout right now, specifically smaller than 24 inches, trying to get as many of these as possible. Colorado Parks and Wildlife is running a contest which helps them keep the lake trout population in check. It also helps other fish populations in the reservoir stay healthy.
You know, a lot of the anglers are saying, it provides some fun, so it serves both our goal of, managing the lake trout population, as well as, providing a fun angling experience.
That contest runs through April 30th. The winner gets $3,000. Tonight at 9 and 10, we're going to show you a little more about how the contest works and who is vying for top prize.